If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the Open Doors, Open Minds YouTube channel. Don't forget to show your support by following us on Spotify and by following our social media platforms, links to which are in the description of this video.
So hi, welcome to Open Doors, Open Minds. I'm here myself, Chelsea, hosting today. I've got a lovely guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Very Tired Kelvin, and the reason why Kelvin is tired is because we've just done 45 minutes of recording and realised Chelsea didn't press the record button. So if my body language looks a bit like tired and drained now, just know that this is the second time I'm talking about this stuff.
And the second time I haven't pressed record today.
Yeah. Yes. So no, thanks for having me, Chelsea. I'm Kelvin. I'm founder of Grassrootz. I don't know. I created Grassrootz. We're a youth club in Reading. We're doing pretty well for ourselves, and we love the work we're doing. And I had the opportunity to come on and speak to you guys, and I jumped at the opportunity. I actually invited myself on. So thanks for having me. Thanks for the rest of the team as well. I love what you lot are doing. I've watched many episodes.
It sounds like you're going to say goodbye after this.
It's all good. So I'm here to say hello and thank you for having me on. And we're just going to chop it up a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess we're going to start all over again with the questions. So let's start off with how you found Grassrootz, or what made you start Grassrootz.
I'm going to shorten it up this time.
Well, no, because the viewers need to hear it.
I've always worked with young people and kids. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life when I was at college. I'd done many a different course, and someone then asked me, can you come and help do some football coaching? And I was like, I really enjoyed that. And it led down this path. So I've always worked with young people and worked with kids. And then my son got to about 12. I was driving the minibus home, and he had him and his friends on the bus, and they were talking about meeting up that evening. And then someone said, I'll meet you at IKEA. And I'm like, why are you going to IKEA? So he was like, we hang out in the car park there. The security guard's quite relaxed. If we behave, he lets us chill in the car park. So I've just said, why don't you just go to a youth club? And the response was, what's a youth club? So I was like, And again, my son, he's a year below those boys, and he's quite a homeboy. He just goes football, comes home and chills out. So I didn't realise there was this high demand of, do you know what I mean? Well, lack of provision, I should say, actually. There's high demand for the young people, but there's lack of provision for the young people. So rather than do the kind of usual route of making complaints and moaning, why is there not a youth club, and who's looking after the young people, and so on, I thought, actually, I'll take it upon myself to start something. Didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I decided I'm going to start a youth club. Called a few friends who work with young people as well and said, look, this is what I want to do. Could you donate one evening a week? Where we put something on, and they agreed, and we started. And from there, we've just taken off. It's been amazing. We love the work we're doing. And it's just gone from strength to strength, and we just keep ploughing forward with it.
And I know I've asked all these questions before, but we're going to ask them again. What is it you do at Grassrootz for like the days that they're at school and then the summer holidays? Because there's been a few different things going on, hasn't there? Yeah,
so on a term time, we run the youth clubs. There is some changes. So I'm not going to put dates and times in because we are making changes coming forward in the next couple of weeks. Well, I think next week we should be announcing.
What we can do is, once you've created it, if you send it to Open Doors, Open Minds, they can post it on their story for any of the viewers to see.
Perfect. So it's looking like at the moment we've got 4 clubs at the moment. So we have Milestone. See, I'll put that one there first this time. Milestone, Hexham Road Community Centre, Coley Park, and D Park. So them 4 will be running. We're hopefully opening one in Junction soon. And then we have one spare day left, so we're going to put another one somewhere. So this is what we're having discussions with at the moment, is where we put in this club. Are we going Oxford Road? Are we going Tylers? Are we going Southcote? We haven't decided yet. But there will be a 6th youth club starting pretty soon. So that was how it looks. And most clubs have two evenings, or 2 clubs, I should say, sorry. So if it's a Tuesday, it might be Milestone. We'll have a junior club, which is for primary school kids. And then we have a senior club, which is for secondary school kids.
And what's the youngest?
So age? I would say we target, 7 to 11-year-olds. However, we have got a couple of 5 and 6-year-olds in the club. So the primary school one is 7 years old to 11 years old, I would say. And then secondary school kids, 11 to 16. However, we aren't strict with it. So what you find is some primary school kids there was a boy who was like 9, but he hung around all the older boys on the estate. So it was like, why try and keep him in the juniors? He doesn't fit in here. Actually, he's better in the seniors. And then we have some people who are about 13 and they fit better in the juniors. So why fight and keep them in somewhere where they're not happy? So put them in the juniors. So we are flexible with it. It's just a guideline, really. And honestly, as I said, one of the areas, got kids as young as 5 who come in. So it's just more about, as long as the parents are happy, because again, you are going to hear a bit of language which isn't really appropriate for a 5-year-old. If you've got an 11-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, I can't tell the 11-year-old boy, actually, you can't be yourself in this environment. We can say to him, listen, watch your language, but do you know what I mean? He's an 11-year-old boy. And actually, if you decide to put your 6-year-old kid in there, then you have to understand it comes with the territory.
Point of Grassrootz and the youth club itself, it's more for the kids to have a safety place. It's not about policing them or kind of telling them you've got to speak a correct way. It's more like let them be free who they are and help them, guide them to the right spaces. And that's what I've noticed when I'm there. If they're swearing and blinding quite a lot, I have noticed you do tell them watch your language, but you also let them be a bit free.
It's understanding who you're dealing with. It's understanding maybe what they're going through at that moment. So again, sometimes there's real unnecessary swearing where someone is just swearing and you just like, stop it, like there's no need for it. And then sometimes someone's stubbed their toe on the door and said, hi. It's not acceptable, but...
Or if they're like curled up with their friends in the corner having a good talk, you got to let them be, haven't you?
It's understanding. Again, it's just sending that reminder, it's language.
Yeah.
But again, it's understanding where they are, what they're going through.
Which I do think nowadays is very important for these kids to have a safe space, because they probably... Like, we have to go on the subject of media. There is a lot on media of rights and wrongs. So these kids kind of probably put quite a front on this media, but actually in person. Yeah,
and that's one of the important social modelling is probably the best thing we do at Grassrootz, in all honesty. The activities we put out, anyone could put those out. But the social modelling is the most important thing. As I said, the volunteers we have, again, are the most important thing. I can't replicate what we have with some of them volunteers. Like, it's the person, it's not actually the activity what makes Grassrootz special. It's the people we have there. We are all local volunteers who are volunteering. They were all local to the area. We're all kind of connected to Reading, so the young people feel connected to us at the same time. We know a cousin, we know our auntie. I remember telling some of the young people from 2 different clubs, so this auntie, she's got family in one club and got family in a different club. So it's my favourite story to tell them, but when the auntie almost killed me when I was younger because she threw freshly cut grass in my face and I got hay fever and I swelled up like a balloon. So when I told them, like, that's your auntie, she done this to me, they're in hysterics and they go home, oh my God, he knows so-and-so. And they start relaying the story back, and do you know what I mean? It just gives it that family feel, like we're a part of their family and they're a part of our family as such. So those things are so important, and I think that's where Grassrootz is so unique to us a lot of level. And the young people know we're volunteering. We make it very clear to them when behaviour is bad. We call the meetings. We let them know what we could be doing. I've seen
you actually stop the club twice, I think it was, because of the bad behaviour.
Yeah, they got a 2-week ban. But yeah, it's... So I'm not going to get there and say everyone's perfect in there. We've had some real tough moments. We've had moments where we come out of there and I'm like, what are we doing? How are we going to rectify this? But it is letting the young people know, actually, me as the leader of it, I'm nothing without the volunteers. This thing won't run without the volunteers. So actually, if you're going to be disrespectful, why would the volunteers come back and donate their time? Like, they don't have to be there. Like, and I think it's understanding that when they see teachers, they probably think, well, you're getting paid to be there. So regardless of how good a teacher is or bad the teacher is, for young people, they're going to turn around and say, well, if you didn't get paid, you wouldn't be here. Whereas I could turn around and say, none of my volunteers get paid. I didn't get paid. Like, actually, I'm losing money every week. But we're here every week for you guys. So the least you could do is have some respect. And it does hit home after a while. And we are no nonsense with it. So like you said, that time where youth club got shut, it got a bit too much. We had a conversation. Some of the back chat, it was very minor, but I had to draw a hard line. So it was like, okay, 2 weeks out, and almost let the young people police themselves, because some of them wasn't happy with a few individuals who then ruined it for them. And as adults, sometimes we can't be everything. We have to let the young people manage some things. And yeah, that was the important part. It was the young people then was annoyed at some of the young people and said, listen, you've got to stop that. If you're not going to behave a certain way, then don't come back. You're ruining the club for everyone. And that was the most important message of it. It wasn't that we're this great disciplinarian team and we've done this. Actually, the young people dealt with it for us, and it's made it a nice atmosphere when we came back. So, and I think it made the young people realise what they do have as well. So a lot of what we do isn't about giving the young people the answers. It's about guiding them. It's about giving them that bit of rope. And actually, depending on what you do with it, we then have to make adjustments. But we're going to allow you the rope at first in a safe environment where if it goes wrong, it's not life or death. It's not prison sentence, or do you know what I mean? It's an environment where actually I can make mistakes, I can learn from it, and it stays in this contained area. It doesn't then spread out to other avenues now where you lose control of what's happened, if that makes sense.
And what is it you do on your summer holidays? Because we didn't actually cover that yet.
We didn't do this because I just talked. That's my fault. So this summer was really, really fun. So we ran, the youth clubs run as normal throughout the summer holidays, and Easter's the same. And then we run a session called Pop Up and Play. So it was literally, we decide maybe the day before or a few days before, we're going to go to this park on Monday, and we literally just turn up in the park, have loads of equipment with us. We set up, it's open for kind of all ages. So it's a family session. So with kids as little as 1 year old to 18-year-olds. And we just have a whole heap of fun in the area. That was a real unique experience. Did
it open your eyes to certain areas that might need you?
And I think what we do very well, at the moment, there's a call from powers that be. There's a couple of areas where it's like, oh, they need provision. So a lot of the attention's focused in there, whereas we was just like, if there's kids over there, we're going to go over there. One thing we found with the youth club, as much as our numbers are really good, we've probably got one of the largest youth provisions in Reading at the moment. Well, we do have the largest. In terms of youth clubs, we have the largest. To me, it's still not enough. I'm going through my figures and data, and I'm like, well, we're not engaging with kids from different areas. Again, kids in Junction might not feel comfortable travelling into Hexham Road or Coley. So part of what Pop Up and Play is actually, let's take what we do to those guys who don't get to see us. So we went to areas which we have never been before. So it was really important to do that for me, and to put Grassrootz on a map in the whole of Reading. So if we now are looking at a youth club in, say, Junction, for instance, 50, 60 kids have met us already. So once we now start the youth club, we're like, oh my God, it's these guys who we've done the Pop Up and Play. So hopefully that just
so the parents are going to be
together.
Comfortable as well as the kids.
Yeah, exactly,
so it kind of just shows the face before the name.
Yeah,
really.
and we think it's important as well for parents to be able to engage with their kids in provisions as well. Because again, I've been there. Like when you go to Madhouse and stuff and soft plays, you don't always want to run around. There's loads of little kids there knocking over little toddlers and that. So parents, we kind of sit back and let the kids play. So it was quite nice to actually just do something where it's all the families invited. Like parents are sitting down having picnics if they want, or joining them. We've had so much parents on the climbing wall, just joining in, and yeah, the difference it makes. And even for parents to understand or know who kids are, because you might hear a name in your house, like your kid might come in and say, oh, I don't know, Jonathan is whoever he is, and you don't know who Jonathan is. And actually just being in that environment where now you've met Jonathan, you've met Jonathan's mum, do you know what I mean? It just brings everything together a bit nicer. So yeah, that was really nice. And yeah, we're just not limited. What I love about what we do is sometimes we look at an issue, and where most people will turn around and say, can't be done there, we look like, how can we put something there?
You try and improve it as such.
Yeah, so Hexham Road, it's a state. There's not much grass there in Hexham Road, and somehow we've put a climber wall in the middle of this estate. Like, it's when you look at it, you're just like, I don't even know how we got it in there. We've literally taken it off the trailer. We've had to push it. We've got some of the teenage boys
I
to
heard
come
you
and
had
help
the
us.
whole community out that day.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. So even parents at the top floor flat are up the top taking pictures of their kids. And again, sometimes we've had kids come in there for over a year, and I haven't met some of the parents, and that was the first interaction with them, and it was quite nice to see. And yeah, it's just sometimes you walk around and you just take it in. You're just like, actually, what we're doing's
because that's another thing with Grassrootz. You're happy for anyone to volunteer. You don't have to. Yeah,
you don't need experience working with kids, as long as, you know what I mean,
as long as
you come with the right, and you come with the right mentality. We do our DBS checks, and a lot of the staff have got first aid. We've got health and safety, so we've got everything in place. Because again, I work for the council, I know the stuff we need. But I'm not looking at, you need to have 5 years experience being a youth worker to come and work. Actually, some of the guys who've got the least experience working with kids are the most important. So it's about what you're going to offer the young people, what you're portraying.
And you don't have to be like a bouncy hyper person either. Like even just sitting down drawing with these kids, it means so much to them sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes people think, oh, youth work, I've got to run around, I've got to do this, which, to be honest, if you go there a few sessions, you know who the ones run around.
So everyone's got a different purpose within it. And it's just kids in general, everyone's got, like, they look for different people for different things. So yeah, if you want to run around, play fight, then I've got a few stuff for that. If you want to just sit down and play Connect 4
or if you know
or
a cool
have a conversation
activity that they can learn from, or if you run a business yourself and want to come and showcase it, I feel like you're quite open to
everything. The more, like, again, I look at how I got into what I got into, and I stumbled on it, like, and this is what part of the issue is. Young people aren't getting enough opportunities. It's like, you need to know what you want to do. You've got to have your plan. You've got to go down this route. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Like, there's so many people who probably stumbled into things they enjoyed, and then from that have made careers of it. So for me, it's about, if anyone's wants to come down, and this is why I love our volunteers, because they're just everyday people, and actually they can guide these young people so well, because they're just from, so if I just had all youth workers in the youth club, then all their experience is youth work. Whereas actually I've got boiler technician in the youth club as a volunteer. I've got someone who, or yourself, does nails. I've got someone nail tech, someone who does events. I've got someone who does van driving. We've got someone who works in the office as an accountant. We've got a couple of actual youth workers who work in schools. But
it just brings it helps the community, because there's not much community anymore, is there? From a few years ago. So I feel like because I've been in town and I've seen some of the kids and they come straight up to me, and I just think it's like, I've only been to your session a few times and you remember my face and you feel comfortable. Or they'll be playing up and they'll see me and they'll just all of a sudden stop, and I'm like, wow, like that actually meant so much to them without them even realising. So I think
sometimes we don't realise, again, what, like, just a simple conversation, what you have with someone, they don't forget it. And it's like, no, you was there for me when I was feeling really down that day. You come and brought Django in my face and made me play it, and I really needed that, but I didn't know I needed that at the time. Or some of the relationships we built, again, off the back of just something so simple. And again, you never know what someone's going through at that time, which, again, this is the mental health side of it. It's, you don't realise until you have some convos. And my biggest problem is I then try and help and fix everyone. It's difficult sometimes, and we do take a lot of burden on, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And as I said, it feels like, it's just an amazing feeling. And we're here and we're just doing some special work, and I'm just grateful for all the volunteers.
So let's move on to a different subject then, because we spoke a bit about Grassrootz and the platform itself. What struggles have you had in Grassrootz that you've had? Personally, or just Grassrootz in itself?
I think the big struggle for everyone to see is funding. That's difficult. Like, again, I'll speak about the volunteers, and nothing more than I'll say to them, actually, look, we've now got some money.
And I want to say something as well.
Go on.
Like, I've been around you a lot, as some of the viewers will know. And I see how much you put into this. Like, you put your sweat, your blood. This man stays up till 3 o'clock in the morning sorting things out. You put your own money in it. You put everything into this, as well as James. I feel like all the others do as well, and they're all of them. But I feel like the two real top ones that literally put everything is you and James. And I think people need to see like that itself. Like, a lot of the other youth clubs that are around Reading, they don't have that in them.
They have a team.
And I do feel like you're going to, in years to come, you're going to have a lot of kids come up to you and just be thankful, and all that sweat and tears are going to be like, you're going to just be like, do you know what, that's why I did it. Look at that boy could have gone down that route, but he went that route, and that was because of me. And I think sometimes you don't give yourself enough of a praise. I know you got Reading, whatever it was, Pride of Reading.
We'll talk about that, because even that, it was an amazing achievement to win that. Like,
but I still don't feel like you the minute you got that, you went, that was me and all of us, which your team is so important, but they wouldn't be the team they are if it weren't for the main man in front. And I think that's sometimes what Calvin doesn't understand.
No, I don't like to take that glory, but do you know what, as well, I think it's
I just
Like,
had to say that on
no,
here because I feel like a lot of people will watch and they'll say that man is an amazing man, and that you don't believe it sometimes. So I just wanted to share that.
I appreciate it. You know, I hate self praise and all of that. I can't do it. It makes me blush and I get all shy. But nah, it's like, again, I love what I do. So I can't thank the team enough. There I go again with them lot. But no, honestly, them lot are amazing. And even sometimes when I felt a bit down or low, and you've left a name out, you've left Ashley's name out of it. I know you spoke about Annette. Like, but all these guys, and don't get me wrong, I will call everyone's name. There's a massive list. I love all of them. But again, sometimes when I felt down, even yourself, you've just given me that little 5% to make me go out the door again. Because there's been times where I'm sitting there thinking, where's this going? Like, where's this heading? It's taken away from my everyday life, my personal relationships, my own son has to sacrifice financially. Not only am I not that time I could be doing into my other business, but family business, I should say, not my own business before I get called out on it. But yeah, I'm taking away from that, where I could be putting more into that, but actually I'm giving my time up here. Now I'm actually losing money every month because even storage, I spend £500 a month on storage just to keep all the equipment. Again, I'm having to run a second vehicle so I can make sure everything gets to where it needs to get to. Like, it's the things people don't see. Again, even after youth club, right, we finish.
Even that minibus is seeing its days, but we
tape up. We keep
not to
going
mention the pop up and play. You had the big climbing wall behind it. Like,
even just
this is a sacrifice. Is your kind of
people don't see. I think it took me and James 3 days to get the seats out the back. Like, we went to about 4 different garages to try. These guys are using blow torches to try and heat the bolts up, to try and defuse them, and in the end we have to saw them off. Like, it honestly, you won't understand sometimes. Even bless Ty as well. I got to shout Ty out because he's what, 18? He's not even 18 yet, is he? And he travels around. I see him more than I see my own son. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes he'll finish work and he's in his overalls and he's like, yeah, come and get me, I'll come and help you. And I'm like, and he just comes every day, bless him. And some days, again, other people are working, so they're like, I can't get there till 6 o'clock. We have to meet at 5:30 to set up, and I could always rely on Ty to be there to set up with me. It's like, this guy, like, as I said, he don't understand how much he's done for Reading himself, because if he's not there, I can't set up by myself. Or even if someone says I'm going to be there at 6:15, really legal, I can't open up a youth club with one person. So just him being there just takes so much pressure off. So some of those staff get onto him sometimes. I'm like, leave my second son alone, because listen, if it weren't for him, sometimes the club would have to shut some days. So he's been a godsend. But a lot goes into it. Even packing away, club shuts at 9. We then do drop off home. Then I've got to empty the van out because I might need to use the van for something the next day, or we've got to put equipment away because I don't need it until the next week. So sometimes I don't get back in my house till 11:30 at night. Do you know what I mean? So.
But the smiles on their faces are just what you live for, isn't it, Calvin?
The messages and like just even the convos, and like you can't beat us. So there's no more rewarding job than working with young people.
I do think it would be quite nice if you got some feedback from the adults that do work there of what, because I do feel like Grassrootz helped them as much as it's helped the kids, the ones that volunteer. Because I know it's helped me in some way. Like, it's brought a lot of fun in my house. Before I started Grassrootz, I was really. Well, my confidence wasn't there really, and I didn't really play. I did play with my kids, but where I was quite mentally ill prior to that, I think I struggled. So I think Grassrootz did bring that out of me. So I would love to hear some of the stories from the volunteers of what Grassrootz actually has done for them.
That's something we need to do.
That would be quite cool, because as much as it's about the kids, it's very community based, even though we don't live near each other. It's just
there's
like
a family behind the family.
Yeah,
it's definitely more families in there. Like, as I said, I watch the volunteers, and again, it's sometimes I feel like you might come to me and say, oh, this is happening. I'm like, is it? And I feel like out of the loop sometimes. And then I watch the bigger community growing, and that's the beauty of it. It really is. It's watching their relationships grow and form. And then you've got some of the staff who go between the clubs and watching their relationships. And even sometimes you see in the group chat, and again, they're having their jokes, and I feel like I'm missing out. But it's so nice to watch them, and just, the team we've got is unbelievable. And like you're saying, we've all grown. There's sometimes when I feel low and like, am I still doing this? And then it would be either one of you guys would give me a little boost. You could just send me something, or like, I had this idea to do that, and I'm like, oh my God. And then, or again, sometimes the young people, sometimes you have a convo of one of them, or again, I walked into a school, and I remember I went to this school, and all of a sudden he says, "Oh my God," screaming, and the teacher was like, "I feel like I'm with a celebrity," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know how it is." But it's just realizing, and again, as much as they might call you whatever they want to call you at youth club, because at that moment they're in your environment, so your public enemy as such, not in, like, they're not horrible, but it's like a lot of banter. But when you actually step in the school and then they see you in there and their eyes light up, "You could be working at the school, you got to be in my class," and I don't think so, but like yeah, definitely that. But it just shows the impact you are having on these young people. And like you said, I know you've had it in town, and like it's crazy how they do view you, and then it makes you then realize maybe how much, not saying people they're not being parented, but how much role models do they have in their life. So is that why they're clinging to us with everything now, and they share everything with us? Do you know what I mean? And it's amazing to see, to be fair. I'm just blessed and privileged.
So let's move on to something else. Media. I know we covered this before, but we didn't really talk about. We did talk about it before I pressed record.
We didn't even finish the last topic, really, though.
What topic?
You said what's the negatives, or whenever I felt down.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go on, then carry on.
No, we get it. Funding is a big killer for us. I think if we could, and we're looking at other ways of how to do it, but that's a big killer for us, and it does demotivate you sometimes. And like, again, the red tape, like a lot of the volunteers might not see some what happens behind the scenes. I know James will know, because I'll kind of offload on him or ask him or yourself. You then get the backlash when I get a bad phone call. I'm like, yeah. So it's again, I think, and this is the hardest thing. And again, it's probably every industry. Again, it's the people on the floor. So Thames Valley Police have been brilliant with us, and we're now on it's the VRU. I don't want to bore you with it, but hopefully that will help us run some projects in the youth club. But people can see what we're doing, but then it's like the management above, they're so disconnected from it all. And it's those guys, and their guys are the ones that hold the budgets, and it's kind of getting those guys to see what our value is. And
it's kind of like they want this bad stuff to stop happening in the streets, but they're not there to see what's going on and what's actually helping them to actually fund the stuff that's actually helping them, or bring the sources a little bit to help you run more.
And I think the negative for our organisation is, again, it's just a few people donating some time. So other organisations will have a massive crew, and again, James opens my eyes to make me understand how other things are run. So again, if you've got an admin worker, the difference that makes, of they will just collate all your figures, they would do all the little background stuff to say we had 105 engagements yesterday and we done this and we done that, because that's what fund writers want to see is, okay, prove it. So as much as we've got all this great stuff, maybe my bid writing is not great. So again, some of these organisations will have someone who just writes bids for them. They have a team of people who one person's job is to write bids. One person's job is to take pictures and make their Instagram look glossy. One person's job is to go in, I don't know, do you know what I mean, deal with the admin stuff. So the youth workers can just get on with be youth workers and engage with the young people, and then other stuff is taken care of by other people. So we hopefully will get to that point at some stage, but it is a lot, and it is disheartening sometimes when you're seeing other organisations, and this is the big bugbear of me. So some organisations, I'm going to apologise if you feel I've been rude to some people or haven't been inviting people into Grassrootz, but it's quite disheartening when you hear people have got massive amount of money to run projects. They don't have any kids to engage with, so then they call my phone and say, can I come in and do a session in your club? And all it is so they can tick a box to say we engage with these young people, but they're not. And then
they get the funding.
Yeah, and it's not even from me. It's actually you're taking from the young people, like, and that's when it annoys me. And so I have been this year I've been quite reluctant to partnership with people, because I'm just like, actually, you're just using us because you're getting all this funding, and fair play if you're writing a good bid and you get your funding, cool, but then you go and do your work and you go and get these kids to come and join in and engage with you, because what I'm not going to do no more is weaken Grassrootz by giving these the opportunity to use what we've got, our data, our numbers, and then you can write your bid next year and you can say I've engaged with all these kids, and all of a sudden you now get your bids again and we're still struggling. So it's one of them things that is frustrating, but we will get there in time, and no one can deny what we do. And again, more than money, really, honestly, is actually when you see the impact we're having, and that's what doesn't stop us from going. Like sometimes, like actually, I need
100%.
to rein it in a bit, and then you speak to a young person, you're like she needs me, he needs me. We're gonna keep going. So
a lot of them
is important.
need it more than we probably realise, because there's not enough of us doing it. I think if you had a lot of, especially the admin and the funding a bit covered, I feel like your life would be a little bit more easier to actually put a lot more where other things are needed. So I do
that's the fun I find hard, is that balance, because I've got to be that side, but I want to be on the front
and
line
like
as
you
well.
said,
So
when you're sacrificing your time and your money and your effort, it then affects your own personal life, which obviously I know I've never seen you complain about it ever. It just, like you said, it frustrates you at how much it's gonna. So
yeah, but as I said, the most important thing is the young people are getting what they need, and that's why it frustrates me, because you can I sit in so many meetings and everyone says the same thing, and it's like, okay, yeah, cool, but bring something forward now. Like, I'm not saying they're not trying, because again, they only hold so much power as well, but it is at the point where it's like things will have to change, because how many more tragedies are we going to have in Reading before things are done?
What's happening everywhere now, and something needs to be done for all of the young ones, so maybe they need to actually see what you're doing and actually figure out and put it in all areas, rather than just putting their money where really it's not working. And it might have worked years ago, but doesn't work now. Learn.
And I think the frustrating is, rather than people support what we're doing, we've built something, actually get behind it, and what do you lot need to, they're like, try and copy our model. It's like, it's easy to
copy the activities, but
it's a PlayStation, it's a football, it's badminton. It's not hard, but actually the people we've got, the team we've got, that's what the difficult thing is. So you can try and copy it, and maybe semi-successful, whatever it is, but actually, why not get behind us and say, actually, what do you guys need? Right, we're going to also give you this. Can you do this? And that's what's needed right now. So hopefully it will come. All we can keep doing it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, all we can keep doing is banging the drum and keep putting good products out there. And do you know what I mean?
You're doing more than many, so
that's a good way of looking at it. And we're going to keep doing more as well. That's the key to it. Like I said, I feel refreshed. I had a couple of weeks off after the summer, so we're ready to go again. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there. I've missed the young people as much as they've missed me. So yeah, no, I can't wait to get back to it, to be fair.
Are you ready to move on with the other questions, or?
Yeah. Let's go.
Right, let's cover a bit about media. I know obviously we already spoke about this, but you mentioned obviously Ollie's, Stephen's mum and dad changed something recently, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Which helps you in some sense with that. But how do you feel with the youth club, how media's affected you? And also you can explain what Ollie's mum and dad did.
Okay, so first we will talk about the online safety bill that's just been passed. So Ollie, Stephen's mum and dad, obviously he was fatally stabbed a few years back in Reading. So yeah, Amanda and Stuart Stevens are amazing people. I don't know how they find the strength. And again, they've lost their son, but they're fighting for everyone else's children, and not even just Reading. This is UK, the online safety bill, and this will go into different countries as well, about protecting the young people. So the work they're doing is amazing. And also Matt Rodder, who's the MP in Reading, he's heavily behind it as well. So they're fighting a massive case, and it's so important. Like the phones, we have to move with the time. So phones are going to be in every kid's hand. Again, just for safety, my son, just knowing where he is sometimes, so he needs a phone. He needs to be able to communicate when he's traveling. So they need phones, but now they have access to everything, and that's the scary side of it. Again, how many of us put parental guidance on our kid's phone who's 14? None of us do it. Do you know what I mean? It's these little things we're not doing. So we're reliant on social media apps to police some things, and they really haven't been doing it. Again, we spoke earlier, but we didn't press record. I put a video up with some music behind it, and I get an email notifications. They're going to shut down my whole account. I'm going to be held liable. I'm going to be arrested for playing a 10-second clip of a Beyonce song, say. So they can police that, but there's kids running around with these massive weapons, and they're posting it all over on their timelines, and it's not getting taken down. And what we're doing, we're desensitizing young people. We're kind of showing them that it's how we should be living. I never saw anything like that growing up. Like, do you know what I mean? But kids are posting up with knives, with guns, and they're showing these videos around. And again, if I'm now a young person, I feel like I need to have that. And this is where we're getting into this real kind of dangerous territory. And I feel before weapons, it was about body and females feeling they had to look a certain way. And I have to show this part of my body off to get attention. And that's still there. Does not get it wrong. That's still there. But I do now think it's now heading into the violent side, and we're kind of glorifying
stuff that shouldn't be glorified.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I agree on.
And what people will turn around and say, oh, it's rap music. Oh, it's the movies. So they look at Top Boy, and to me, Top Boy doesn't glorify it. No one's happy in Top Boy. So actually, it's showing you the reality of the streets. That needs to be shown. But what's glorifying it is a group of 14-year-old boys with their hoods on with these massive machetes. And it's like, where are you even getting these things from? Like, this is also the problem. This isn't produced in a tech workshop in Highdown School. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't call the school out, but they're not, kids aren't making these things. They're ordering them offline. So how are we not stopping the trail of these things getting sent out? Like, how is someone getting a blade this big sent to them? Like, someone surely, but again, if I was to buy clothes from somewhere, I've had my clothes sometimes held up at, what's the place called there? Customs, yeah, for months. And I'm like, just send me my trainers. Like, do you know what I mean? So, but when it comes to money, they want to police everything, but yet these big weapons, like the weapons they're getting hold of are ridiculous. Farron Alex Paul, he's got an Instagram page who does the knife amnesty. Some of the things he gets given, like, and young people sometimes will see sense in, actually, I want to give it away, but I don't want to give it to the police. So he goes out and collects weapons and then gives them in. Some of the stuff he gets, you're just like, how on earth, like, is someone getting hold of something like this? It's ridiculous, some of these weapons. So it is scary. And again, these things are going up on social media and they're not getting taken down. So again, you would remove my post because of a song. But you're not going to remove somebody
or something,
a video, of someone with these massive weapons. So now all this is out again. Like we say, algorithms are so important.
But I do feel like that with a lot of things on Instagram. Like, I mean, we've spoke privately about OnlyFans. Like, I'm not against any girl doing whatever they want to do when they're a grown woman, but the way OnlyFans is published and the way
it's portrayed,
it does, like. And I don't think I looked at that until I had a daughter myself, and I thought, how would I feel if my daughter came home and said, I do OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. Yeah. So I just think it's like, if she said to me, that is genuinely what I want to do, Mum, I can't fight her to change her mind. But for it to be in hands of a 12-year-old, like, I mean, when I was 12, all I saw was Page 3 or my brother's magazines. Like, I never ever saw.
I think the problem is
it's everywhere. Like, it's in songs, it's everywhere, and it's the same with knife crime. It's everywhere, and it's like. It's just, it's not okay.
I'll tell this story quickly because I think it's so important. So when I was coaching football, my brother popped down to, I think I left something going and I was like, T, can you drop it for me? I'm at Leisure Centre. So he's come down with the stuff and two of the boys are like, oh, look at his car. He drove a really nice car at the time. And I was like, what do you reckon he does? One of the boys went, well, he's not a sportsman because he's not in good shape to be a sportsman. Sorry, T. That's what they said. So I was like, no, he's not a sportsman. He's like, I know he does music, but he's not a famous rapper or a musician like that. So I don't think he earns that much money from music. I was like, yeah, you're right. He's not a musician. Then the next two jobs were lawyer, doctor. I was like, he's not a lawyer and he's not a doctor. And then he's like, oh, I don't know. And like, all they could, is he an actor? Said the only 5 jobs to afford a Mercedes was a lawyer, doctor, actor. And they said, he's not a drug dealer because I know your mum wouldn't have that. And I was like, yeah, he's not a drug dealer. So to them, they was like, how do you earn money to afford that? And then I told him he sold toilet roll. And he was like, what? And I was like, he's a salesman. And part of what he does, he sells toilet roll and hand soap to hotel chains and things like that. And they couldn't get their head around it. And part of the problem we have is, so I think sex industry's been that's the oldest industry in the world. But what's happened now is, young people can understand how much that pays, but they don't understand how much a nurse pays or a politician, whatever it is. So for them to earn that money, it's very easy.
The safety hand behind it either. No, like,
no one shows the other side.
You can show your body on Instagram or whatever, but that might affect your relationship down the line. That might affect the safety aspect, the respect when you get with a man. Like, they might not respect you. They might treat you. Your family might treat you different. Like, it's the same with the drugs and stuff. You might end up in prison for many years, or you might be in a situation where you either have to kill or you get killed.
No one tells you the full story. All they're seeing is money. That job is easy work for a lot of money. That's all. And again, no one's showing you the other hundreds of thousands of girls who have maybe OnlyFans and aren't making no money from it. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I've always said they should put in school a guidance course.
Yeah,
where it's just talking about full on your mindset and how to guide it. Because if we've got such clever brains and we can progress it by learning, we'll progress it more if we're more comfortable and understand things, but there's not enough schools, I don't feel, speak about things. Be safe in sex, but what about what a relationship brings? What does controlling look like?
Yeah, what's a narcissist behaviour like? Well,
you didn't know what gaslighting was. I had to explain it to you the other day.
I keep hearing this term, and I'm like, what is this term?
Well, your brother's being gaslit.
Yeah, he's being gaslit at the moment. But it is important they see the other side. So again, it's what everyone sees is the one person. So you look at the one rapper who's made it out of the 100,000 that didn't. Okay, so we can look what he's made, and he's going to show you his jewelry, he's going to show you his cars. That's all fine. But what about the other thousands that didn't make it? So we're only going to see this one. But so it's you're looking at the lottery almost to say, right, we can all play the lottery, but only one of us is going to make it. And it's like, well, actually, the safer bet is go to college, go and pick up a trade, because actually every single plumber who gets qualified probably starts on 40 grand a year. But it's very hard, and this is where, as a community, we're letting the young people down, because if your family's in the industry, you know about the building trade in the industry. But if your family's not, then you don't see the other side. So this is why I say the staff at Grassrootz are so important, because we've got people from different industries. Someone could have a conversation with a boy and say, oh no, but I do this and this is what I earn. So again, young people don't understand maybe how much 40k is a year or what you can get with that. So actually once someone shows them, no, this is what I earn, this is my monthly breakdown, then they're like, oh, actually that's achievable. And that's all you have to do. I get a van and I get to drive around, and this is why
I used to go out with back in the day. His dad was a builder, and he bought a bit of land, and he built his whole house fresh from the bottom. And his house, probably the most prettiest house I've ever seen, and it had electric gates. It had probably the same house as what you've probably seen on TV, but he built that. That probably means more to him because he's got it all from himself, rather than going out trying to get quick, dirty money.
But this is what we're not helping young people, because again, not everyone's meant to learn with a textbook in front of you. Not 100%. Every kid's meant to learn that. So they get disheartened in school. I'm not going to achieve anything because I can't sit in a maths class for an hour. So they write themselves off. And actually, we need to try and upskill them and let them see there's a range of different jobs out there, and actually your skill base fits perfectly into this. And your skill, again, I'm not very creative with some things, so that doesn't appeal to me, but I'm good with this side. So it's about them understanding there's lots of different ways of making money, safe way of making money, but also what we're also doing to young people is the whole country's so everything's just red tape. You can't do this, you can't do that. If I asked you, how old was you when you got your first job? You started earning a bit of money.
I was 14.
14, right. So same as me. I worked in a pub, more of a nightclub. I was 15. Mum, don't listen to this part. But I used to stay at James Amigo's house, and we used to go out on a Friday and we'd go and collect glasses. 25 quid a Friday, 25 quid a Saturday, 50 quid a weekend at 14 years old. Perfect.
There's none of that now.
You can't do it no more. So many people started off in the hairdressers. Obviously, the paper round and everything was... But at 13, 14, we was able to make some money to last us, which would help. So not that we needed, I didn't need a lot, but that 30, 40 pound coming so handy. Again, even that, Mum, don't listen to this again. I remember having the opportunity. We used to do ID parades. You know what that is?
No.
See, this is it. This is where we lived in the city.
Am I too young now?
Yeah, and you didn't live in the city. You would never know about these things. But when I first started DJing, again, we used to have to buy records. So if you didn't have money, you'd go down to the local police station and they'd be doing ID parade. So what it is if something happened to someone, just say you was assaulted and you had to go and pick out the person who assaulted you, but they'd need other people to stand next to him. Yeah. So you go in there, and if you get picked, you'd earn yourself a little 15, 20 quid. And that would be like, so it's like ID parade on Thursday, we'll head down to the police station and just so again, you get in there and they're like, we want you. And you're like, yes, I'm going to make 15 quid. God, so that's the sort of stuff we used to do to earn a bit of money. But that was perfect for us. Like, earn a little bit of money, I'll go literally straight to HMV and go and buy my records.
Even when we were younger, we could do days out with your mum and dad to work, just to see what they did and stuff. But there's so much.
Yeah, so again, we're telling these now. So imagine you're a 14-year-old boy and everything's so expensive now. And now this is where social media does play a big part. All you're seeing... So again, you follow who you want to follow. Your algorithms are your algorithms. So what they're going to do is brilliant marketing. Okay, if you're interested in football, we're going to just pump everything football towards you. So my algorithms are football, yours are nails.
Yeah. It's
going to target what we like. So everything's going to get pumped towards you. So I'm going through my Insta, I'm just seeing things that I want to buy because it's targeted towards me. You're going to see things you want to buy. So everything's money based now. We want to buy things. But at 14, you don't have a job. If your parents can't afford to buy you these Jordans, or these trainers, Tech Fleece, which costs £200 a tracksuit. I need to find a way to earn this money. Now, I can't go and get a little job on a weekend because I'm 14, so nowhere can just say to me, oh, you can come in and just lug this around for me and I'll give you 40 quid. Because if you have an accident, we're going to be liable. The insurance, I'm not having you on site or not letting you come into the salon to wash hair, whatever it is. So how now these 14, 15-year-olds meant to make some money? I'll tell you who is hiring. The man on the corner who's selling. He'll give you this, hold this bag for me and I'll give you £100. I'll just run this over there for me, I'll give you this. So we're actually pushing these young people to the drug dealers. So as much as we're saying we don't want them to go down that route, actually we're kind of pushing them down that route, because how else are these young people making legal money to be able to support themselves? Because again, we're living in this crisis at the moment where there's not much money around for some families. They don't have spare or excess money.
Well, one of my questions was, do you feel like the crisis with like gas and electric, have you seen an effect on families since that? Because obviously you've probably seen a lot of single mums or dads that have gone from living okay lives to now.
Yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult. Like the changes it's making,
which then does affect the kids. Then, especially if you're like the man of the house and you're a 15-year-old boy, and you're seeing your mum struggle. To them, it thinks logically to go out and sell something to the wrong man if you can't go and get a job and help your mum out.
Yeah, and again, that's that little bit of, all you got to do is, and something is so simple as just take that bag and hold that in your bedroom for a week, and then you're going to get paid all of that. Like, you wear it up and it's like, oh my God, how much am I going to make that kind of money doing that? So we're giving the drug dealers the advantage, and in this crisis at the moment, it is difficult. I don't see it as I see it in the little ones, in their appearance, sometimes how hungry some of them are when they come to the club. Like, they don't recognise it. That's what I think I should say. The young people might not recognise it, how bad they might be struggling in the younger age. The older age group, they know, and you can see it. And sometimes you can see they're embarrassed about some things, or it's quite sad to watch them and how they have to live. And we've done a collection recently. We've collected loads of clothes for the young people, and some of their faces.
From Give Back, wasn't it?
We joined in with Give Back. So I was giving away some of mine and my son's clothes one week. I was clearing out the wardrobe, and Jaden had some good bits he hasn't worn, and I was like, I'll give this to the kids. So I've taken it to one of the clubs, and now they're fighting over it. And I'm like, oh God. So then some of them didn't get something. He's like, can you bring something for me next week? And I'm like, well, you're bigger than my son already. You know, you're 12 and he's 16 at the time. He's tiny. So I was like, okay, I'll get you some of my stuff. So I've gone back and I've gone through some of my old stuff which I'm not using, giving it out. And off the back of that, Moses saw and he was like, nah, let's do something together. So we've collected loads of clothes. I've given some bits out, but there's a lot I haven't given out. So we were going to do a little day. Yeah, we're going to call it Grassrootz Fashion Week or something like that. We're going to make it, because we don't want it to feel like it's charity like that. Yeah. Because they have got some pride, but actually some of the stuff we've been given is amazing. So thank you everyone who's donated some clothes to us and trainers and stuff. But we want to do it in a way where they feel empowered to receive it. It's not like it's a charity. We're just giving them our off bit. So we are going to create something special around it. But yeah, even just doing that and seeing how happy some of the kids were, because again, it's some things which we all take for granted. Like, again, just having, so one of the tops was Trapstar, and it was like, oh my God, there's a Trapstar top. So he was so gassed, and then you heard the haters now, I bet it's fake, and I was like, hey, I don't wear fake, you know. But it's like, again, it's that whole concept of, so what if it's fake? Look how it's made him feel. But and I've seen it with trainers. Well, a girl had a pair of Jordans on, so I was like, nah, they ain't real. They ain't got the right holes in them. I'm like, how do you not even know that anyway? Like, do you know what I mean? And I brought my son some bits for him. He's like, Dad, I won't wear that. And I'm like, what? He's like, because I can tell it's fake. I was like, how can you tell? And he's like, the spacing in the dots. I'm like, but you ain't got a job.
Back in the day, it was like, you hope that your mum or dad went to Turkey.
Yeah.
Because you're like, bring me back some
of that tight. Yeah, bring me back some of that stuff. So, but
my auntie used to.
And this is the bad thing with the internet as well, because I was like, how do you actually know? So it was a pair of what was them trainers everyone wore? Not Stan Smiths. They were like Stan Smiths. Alexander McQueen's. That was it. So I was like, how do you know they're fake? And he was like, on the side, there's 5 holes, like little pinpricks. And he was like, the spacing is 2.5 millimeters, and these ones are spaced 7.8, Dad. And I'm like, Jenny, shut up. But it was that, literally, that's all the difference. Is the spacing between the holes was bigger on my ones than it was. And I was like, Jay, no one would ever know these are fake. And I've worn them so many times, and no one knows they're fake. They're like, oh, they look nice. But again, I think when we get to adults, we now realise, actually, yeah, they might be fake, but I paid 30 quid for these, whereas the real ones are 750. Yeah. Like, yo, much
It's only
rather wear the
money,
fake
really.
ones.
But that's the thing they don't see.
At
They
that
see
age
the
there,
status.
yeah, because again, now if you put the fake ones on and someone clocks on and they start filming, oh look at his fake
That's
trainers.
the thing. I don't think I've ever really. Well, we went shopping the other day. I don't really wear designer.
No, you don't, do you?
You got a lucky girlfriend here, haven't you?
You're cheap. I like it.
But I don't think I've ever. I think at secondary school, I did feel embarrassed. I couldn't wait to go to the like Blackbush Market
yeah,
to go and get a jacket all the girls were wearing.
yeah.
But I don't think. I think as I've got older, I've realised you can shop where you can shop in a charity shop as long as you know how to put stuff together.
Yeah,
no one's really going to look at you and think,
yeah. And I think that's when you get older. And again,
I think
watch.
boys do have it quite harder. I don't know actually now.
Girl
Because
stuff
girls
is
are joining the
cheaper.
boys now, I think.
But it depends what you want to buy, because again, you can shop in shops. So even if you shop in Zara is really expensive, but it's not actually labelled. So you can get a fake Zara knockoff and not realise. But because if it's that name brand, if it's Jordan, if it's Trapstar, like I remember buying my son like a Hoodrich jacket. He's like, Dad, I'm not putting that on. I'm like, oh, I thought Hoodrich was cool, because again, some of the kids I'm working with, I could see they're wearing Hoodrich, and I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, so I give it to them. And I was like, oh, Hoodrich jacket. And I was like, oh, yeah, see, I appreciate it. But again, he's at a different age. He's a bit older than them boys. So yeah, so when you're buying that name brand
doing
stuff,
so well for himself, because you're talking about him like he's
brilliant. He's amazing.
This and this, but he has worked so hard.
And to be fair to him, he's not actually flash. It's quite funny because I've actually brought him some stuff which he won't wear, because he's like, I don't want to be seen like I'm that kind of kid who gets all this stuff like that. So actually some of the stuff he won't actually wear. It's really strange. So he won't wear the fake knockoffs, but actually the real stuff he won't wear either.
He's
so
like
he
in the middle.
likes to stay in his lane. Like, this is my lane here, I'm comfortable here,
Which
so
is
I'll wear
good.
that. So yeah, he is really well grounded, to be fair to him. So but yeah, it is, again, that branding is so important for the young people. Like, so it actually is easier for adults. We can wear stuff which don't have a label on it. And again, I get it. I'd rather wear no label than wear a fake label, if that makes sense. So it is getting kids to understand that you can wear what you want. No one's really, if you put it together well.
They'll care for a second and then it'll be forgotten about within an hour. Like, it's not.
But
I don't think they see it.
That's from our lens. Their lens is different because they have social media. So when we grew up, even when we look at fighting, why knife crime got so bad, I think part of it is kids are scared to fight. Again, we don't allow boys sometimes to be boys and burn that testosterone in a positive way. Well, not a positive. Play fighting's play fighting. It could be looked at anyway, but we don't allow it to happen. And then when it now festers into what it's festered in, we now want to jump in and say, oh, why are they carrying knives? Well, some of them are probably scared to take a punch. So to avoid the punch,
it's all filmed.
I carry something. Then that's the next impact, is everything they do is documented. I know I've won fights, I've lost fights, but the only way you're going to know is if I tell you, or if someone who went to my primary school can now tell you, oh my God, he got into this fight and this happened. But apart from that, I can tell you the story how I want to tell you the story, and you have to take my word for it because you don't know no one else that was involved.
Yeah.
Whereas now, these kids, everything they do is getting filmed. So even with bullying, even if just I went to school and I got bullied, it stopped at school. Once I got home, I can go and see my football friends and I can live and actually forget that until tomorrow morning. Now I pick up again at 9 o'clock when I get there. It's not happening now. These kids, whatever they're going through, they go home and it's group chats. It's getting sent around everywhere. They have to live it and live it and live it and live it. And it's so horrible to see. So these are the dangers of social media. I know as adults we have to be saying, well, put the phone down. But in their head, if I put it down, that's now going to spread for 3 hours. I can't get in front of it, or I can't put my say in. And it just spreads like wildfire.
Some of the stuff that gets spread is just crazy.
Yeah.
Like some of the... Like, well, I told you the other day, there was a girl that went on a sleepover with her friends and she got absolutely like beat up every second.
Yeah, tortured.
Just
it's
by
tortured.
these 3 girls, and it's like, what? Like, how?
And just so they can
like
post it.
Like you said, the song can be
taken down,
but that video has to be. And as much as then the media will turn around and say, but we deleted it after so and so, it's like, but you didn't jump on it quick enough.
And
like,
again,
even the wording, like it'll flag up somewhere. Like just.
But even that, if you can delete it from Instagram. Off my post, but if I've screen recorded it, that's still on my phone. So again, you can keep deleting it, but if you let it spread this far, people have got it and they've got the file, so I can still send that by WhatsApp.
Yeah, I
can still show you in person, look at this. So it's the dangers, and this is the bad side of the internet. And even when I watch some of the videos of people responding to each other, some people don't actually want to fight, but if I call you out online, you have to respond to me online. Now, if you say to me online, I don't want to fight you, I'm going to post that round and be saying to everyone, look how shook he is, and it carries on. So I have to now put the bravado on and say, I ain't scared of you, I will fight you. Now, these two boys sometimes don't even want to fight, but they both can't show weakness on social media, and then it festers, and then actually it creates into a fight. Now I'm scared to fight you, so what am I going to do? I'm going to carry a weapon. And this is how we've got into this place. I know
I'm really sorry. We've got to cut it short.
It's
but
your
I
fault.
think I know it's my fault. I'm sure we can have you back on, Fo. And I am hoping I'm hoping you speak to them. I would like Give Back on here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they do a lot for the men and the kids. They do a lot that we could speak about. Yeah. And Ollie Stevens' mum and dad, I think that would be a really...
Yeah, we can do that. So, yeah, no, I said...
but, yeah, is there anything you would like to say to the viewers before we say goodbye?
Guys, make sure you keep tuning into Open Doors, Open Minds. Like, as much as today's topic's about young people, mental health, they do a lot for everyone suffering with mental health. And just having a conversation, the cast are brilliant. They're all different and very unique in their own ways. So a lot of people can relate to different people. I have my favourite. I'm not going to tell you who my favourite is, but I have my favourite on there. But no, honestly, it's a brilliant platform, and I'm hoping Grassrootz will be linking up with them a bit more and doing more. So not only on the podcast side of things, but actually other aspects. We're going to hopefully get together and do some collaboration stuff. So these are one of the collaborators I'm going to happy to collaborate
Maybe we could,
with.
hopefully we can get some kids in here as well. It would be quite cool.
You trust them?
Well, if any of them wants to, then honestly, even mums, whatever, if you want to come on the show and speak, they're more than welcome.
I think that is something we are looking at, is how we put some kids in front of the camera to hear their say, because it's all good and well speculating about how they feel, what they see.
I'll speak to Scott and Kai and Daniel and everyone else part of Open Doors, Open Minds to see if we can bring the cameras to the youth club maybe, and I can host the day.
They love it there.
Yeah.
All
right, let's say goodbye. Bye, guys.
Until next time.